Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
FightSaga.com presents WAWR Radio Chats with boxing scribe Joseph Heron.
Guys, welcome. Happy Monday to everyone. Hopefully everyone has had a great beginning to their work week. I know I have. All is productive here in South Texas, gearing up for two big events on March 3rd and March 12th in San Antonio and Floresville, respectively. Working on sponsorship. Going to be ring announcer for both of those events. And guys, I tell you what, Twitter boxing community never ceases to amaze, right? It's actually quite shocking when you think about it, but it isn't. It's like if you've grown accustomed to reading the absurd from supposed guys who supposedly love the sport of boxing. Yeah, it's absurd, guys. And once again, look, guys, let me give a shout out to my brother, Issy Beatavo. Thank you so much for being here, sir. No worries, Mr. Heron. We're here for you. Let's talk this boxing. And also my brother, Pounds Boxeo. Salute, Joseph. Salute to you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And once again, I encourage everyone to click on the stream. The more the merrier, guys. And if you don't want to voice your opinion tonight, this is going to be just an hour-long special. I have a lot to talk about, and I'd like to get your opinion on the following, right? And on tonight's syllabus, we're going to be talking about boxing news dropped from, well, Chicken Little, the sky is falling, Mr. Mike Coppinger, right? Who claims that Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia, boy, it's in jeopardy of rematch clause. Now, I don't know if I spilled the beans, right, on this channel. I think it was on Nonito and Rachel's channel, right? Talking about when they were talking about Oscar De La Hoya, well, demanding a contract. He had no contract to sign. Like, guys, you don't even have a venue yet. How can there be a contract? And supposedly you guys had already agreed to terms. But now that you know that Showtime Championship Boxing is in jeopardy, now you want to renegotiate terms. And guys, make no mistake about this. This contract in writing was just an excuse for Oscar to try and renegotiate terms on a relative bad deal that he feel that his fighter and his company agreed to. Guys, it's my pleasure to introduce this gentleman who is always a very valued extended member of the Warwick Radio family, Mr. Anthony Manzano. Tony, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
How you doing? I'm doing well. How are you, Joe?
Well, I tell you what, brother.
Well, the boxing of business gives you headache.
Oh, dude. And you know what, man? And once again, this channel with Coach Gogi and once again, Warwick Radio, we learned the business of boxing from one of the greatest promoters, if not the greatest to have ever done it, Mr. Don Warwick Shargan, who is a Hall of Fame matchmaker and promoter. He taught me the business. He taught me everything I know about the business, right? And I work with a lot of regional promoters. And, you know, it does give me a headache, Anthony. And so what we're going to talk about tonight, my friend, is we're going to talk about the schedule that just dropped by Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Sport. And we're going to also talk about Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, the reality of the situation, right? Oh, boy.
Yeah,
And
and I want to bring up something you guys talked about with Gogi last night. For me, I feel that the what's it called, that drama, the controversy for he won that fight clean. I think it's just people bitching.
Oh, dude, you're bringing up the Navarrete Wilson controversy. And yes, we can talk about anything you guys want. We can talk about that.
It's complete bullshit. It's the fans that don't like him that are complaining.
Well, no, I think, and I touched on it yesterday, and I'm a firm believer of this, right? I'm a firm believer that most boxing fans, diehards, right, have somewhere along the way been convinced that it's a more intellectual and more intelligent way of viewing the sport by constantly complaining about it. Look, guys, far from it. Look, and once again, and they see this schedule drop by Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Sport.
Mm-hmm.
And they automatically look at it. And these are all, like, with the exception of one, the Bam Garcia fight at San Antonio, that I'm going to be attending at the Tech Board Arena. Yeah, I'm going to be ringside for that. And I love Bam. I remember I was ring announcer for his pro debut on TMB Promotions, right? Way back yonder. With the exception of that fight, all of these cater to the UK fan base. Okay, this is proof positive that the Zone, they don't give a shit
about the American
U.S. diehard fan base and the U.S. market. They've already gone that path. They don't have any confidence that the American fan base will financially support the product on the Zone. So their priority is now appealing to the UK and international fan base, as well as the crossover fight fans. They couldn't care less about what you guys think. And you still see some YouTube pages like anticipating the demise of PBC on Showtime. I'm like, how does that make any sense, guys? There are only two promoters right now. And once again, Golden Boy, they have several dates, and once again, they have yet to drop their spring and summer schedule, right? Their spring schedule. And they're trying to make these fights happen. But when you look at this, the only two promoters, major promotional entities, Top Rank and PBC, they're the only ones who are catering to the U.S. market. Yet still, PBC and Al Heyman gets a ton of grief from guys who really have no idea what they're talking about and consistently just regurgitate nonsense that they hear on other fan-driven channels. Guys, I hate to break this to you, but they're not insiders. They have never even attended an event. They have never worked a day in their life in this business. Yet they regurgitate nonsense, claiming that they actually have the inside track. Guys, it's nonsense.
This is on a question. Do you think
real proponents of boxing, the health of the sport, guys, they care about every platform flourishing. Look, if PBC goes down and Paramount Plus decides, look, Showtime Boxing is not worth our investment dollar. Look, other corporations are going to be watching, other platforms are going to be watching. Like, if PBC approaches Netflix and saying, hey, we've got this great product we can put on, they're going to be like, well, look at HBO and Showtime. They both ducked out of the business. Why is boxing actually worthy of our investment dollar? It's become a fringe pastime in America. It's a domino effect. Yet these same idiots beat their chest and are anticipating the demise of PBC on Showtime. Tell me where that makes sense.
It doesn't.
That's it, guys. And once again, we've just started, so let me give a shout out before we go any further, Anthony, to some of our dear friends, right? And so Pounds Boxeo says PBC Stephen Espinola screwing the fans. Yet you look on the schedule, and that seems to be the only promoter outside of Top Rank that is catering to your demands. You really think Eddie Hearn and the brass of DAZN give a shit what you think at this point in time? Look, Pounds, I invite you, brother. And once again, this is not a debate. I don't debate fans. I don't like to do that. This is a discussion where we show you the respect and we actually listen to what you have to say. So please click on the link. I would love to hear what you have to say about this, brother.
Yeah, and for
Also,
me,
hold on. I also want to give a shout out to my brother Joseph Brown. Hey, best of luck
Hey,
this weekend in the Super Bowl, my friend. Eagles facing the Chiefs. Going to be a great event.
you have to be upset your Cowboys are not in the Super Bowl.
You know what? Did you just say something, Anthony? I just heard a slight blur, man. I didn't really make out what you were saying. Yes, of course. But you know what? Par for the course. When you're talking about Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, that's 27 years, now 28, right? Want to give a shout out to my brother Juice. Salute, Mr. Aaron. Salute to you, my friend. Always learn so much on your channel. For that, I'm thankful. Thank you, brother. We are here for you. Pounds Boxeo says, Ryan agreed to all the terms. Yes. And now they're having buyer's remorse and saying, wow, this is a one-sided deal. Look, guys, since that contract, right, which is bullshit, they didn't even have a venue. They have a date. Once again, that's subject to change. That was just an excuse to try and renegotiate a bad deal, right? And so since then, from what I've been told, they've renegotiated the terms, so it's now a 50-50 split. Bet you didn't know that from Mike Coppinger. Yes, this is now a 50-50 split. Tank and Ryan split 50% of the proceeds down the board, right?
Which is a good deal.
You heard it here first, okay, because you're not going to hear it anywhere else. And now they're trying to renegotiate the rematch clause. What's going to be next, guys, is going to be the catch weight. The absurd catch weight that we've been telling you the entire time that they have no intention of adhering to the 136-pound catch weight for Ryan because he can't make it, right? So Pounds Boxeo says this, Ryan agreed to all terms. Tank was saying Hector Garcia is more skillful than Ryan. No, shit. Now, he may have a lot of skill, but he's not a big boy like Ryan. Ryan has the capacity and the ability to knock anyone's ass out with one clean shot, and that's a fact. Ryan is a bad dude, and I've been a big fan of Ryan Garcia since he turned pro. Deep amateur background, good-looking kid. He looks to be the second coming of the Golden Boy. What's not to like?
Yeah,
The Golden Boy. No. Listen, Anthony. The Golden Boy just celebrated his 50th birthday. Happy birthday, Oscar. Let me tell you, Oscar was special. And he was so good for the health of the sport. For a long time, he was a U.S. pay-per-view boxing franchise. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he carried the sport in his back for several years. What's not to love?
Then Manny took over.
Well, I don't know. It was Floyd, and once again, how was Floyd's market value increased? It increased dramatically, okay, by fighting Oscar De La Hoya. How was Manny Pacquiao's market value increased? It was increased by fighting Oscar De La Hoya. Guys, what Oscar has done for the sport, it can't be discounted. He's a legend.
Pay it forward.
Yep, that's it. Look, Oscar is a legend, despite all of his personal inadequacies, right? We're not going to go into all of those. And he's kind of a goofball and a flake. Okay? And I've learned this from covering all of his events for the past 15 plus years, right? In fact, my mentor was their senior advisor. Point in fact, right? This is a fact. Oscar cannot dispute this. Don Chargan, they hired him as a senior advisor because Richard Schaefer, their CEO and CFO,
Screwed them.
had never even attended a live fight before they met Don Chargan and started working for Golden Boy. He single-handedly taught Eric Gomez and Roberto Diaz the fine art of matchmaking. He taught Golden Boy everything they know about the business as he taught me, right? And that's a fact. That's what a young upstart company this is, but they've done a great job in cultivating the biggest star in North America right now, Canelo Alvarez, and you can't deny that. And in my opinion, when everyone left them for dead, when Al Heyman gutted Golden Boy of most of their talent, Canelo stuck by them, and they've done a great job in rebuilding.
Do you think this is an honest question? Do you think Oscar would ever maybe think of trying to, since Eddie Hearn doesn't really give a shit about the American market, do you think he might see if he can negotiate with PBC and partner up with PBC because they know the American market a lot better?
Look, what they're anticipating, Anthony, and I can tell you this, okay? They're anticipating Showtime's rejection of the product, Paramount Plus rejecting the product of boxing, and PBC coming over to DAZN and trying to get some dates, further shoving Matchroom Sports away from the American market. That's what they're anticipating. So PBC, Golden Boy knows this, right? That's what they're anticipating. Don't be surprised, guys, and you heard it here first, if PBC starts to work with DAZN by the end of 2023, if things don't work out with Tank Davis, Ryan. Now, keep in mind, Oscar also knows this. Okay, with the collapse of Spence versus Crawford, that was like, and everyone should realize this. There's a reason now, and it makes perfect sense now, why they work so hard to try and beat a dead horse in negotiations, trying to make Spence versus Crawford when Crawford's demands from the very get-go were very unreasonable and unrealistic. Okay, because they understood, and just as we did, and we told you guys a year ago that this would happen, right? That their days are numbered unless something dramatically happens, and they're dependent now on the big events. Oscar knows this. He's trying to hold this event hostage because he understands that this is, for all intents and purposes, Showtime's ace in the hole. They're depending on Tank versus Ryan to produce great numbers. That's the only chance they have of Paramount Plus prolonging Showtime Championship Boxing on their platform.
Okay.
Whether you realize this or not, this is the reality, guys. Okay?
That sucks. That kind of sucks.
Yep. That's it. And that's the reality, guys. This is why Oscar's making these demands now. Okay? Because go back to a month ago, 2 months ago, right? They were willing to give Tank all of his demands, everything that they wanted just to make the fight a reality. That's changed. And that's dramatically changed ever since that marketing report came out. Right? That's it. That's it. So once again, guys, I'm going to go to my brother Izzy, and thank you so much for supporting. He says, Juice, I agree 100%. The most valuable asset to understanding all things boxing, from the business to the ring. And that's why we're here, guys. Okay?
Yeah, and I feel I think we underestimate how smart Oscar is, to be honest. Like, taking away
yes, I agree with you, Anthony. This is a very shrewd, intelligent business maneuver.
Yeah, no, and honestly, so do you think you're saying that eventually, if Oscar partners up with PBC, they further push PBC out of the not PBC.
No. Listen, this is what we're hoping over time, right? Is that someone picks up the mantle that HBO left behind Because when you think about the last big star in boxing in North America, it was cultivated on the HBO platform. Now, I know Showtime has tried very, very hard, and so has Fox, to cultivate Spence
ESPN too.
and Tank Davis. No. But we'll get in the top rank as far as the business goes. They're merely shooting for par. They're cultivating a lot of great fighters into trying and becoming big stars. But when you look at their budget, yeah, they're shooting for par, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But when you look at Spence, Tank Davis, becoming the next big American pay-per-view commodities, they've really fallen short. And in my opinion, they really jumped the gun in featuring these fighters on pay-per-view prematurely. They weren't ready. They would be better off showing their fights on mainstream regular subscriber TV or on national network free TV. They're not there yet, guys, and the numbers reflect this. They're not there yet. Guys, Canelo is the only big-time mainstream star in North America. And what platform was he cultivated on? HBO. That was the most widely recognized mainstream boxing platform in existence. And when they backed out of boxing, the business of it, no platform has yet to take the place of that. DAZN tried. They've been trying. So in my opinion, this would be a very healthy progression. If PBC were to start having dates on DAZN, this is what we need. This is what made HBO great, because they were willing to work with all promoters. They didn't sign fighters, at least not under Lou DiBella's reign as the CEO and president of HBO Sports. He had the clout, he had the TV dates, he had the pocketbook to hold all promoters' feet to the fire and say, look, I want this matchup, and if you guys don't give it to me, well, good luck. Find another platform. Go to Showtime. I don't care.
Where are fans getting that PBC is going broke? I don't get that.
Guys, this is hilarious, and it's a huge misnomer from people who don't understand the business. You give me one major promotional entity anywhere that actually stages these events with their own money. They don't.
They're getting funding from banks.
Okay, no. They rely on the network licensing fees to pay for these very expensive main events. And then the site fees pay for the preliminary bouts and everything else, all the other expenses in staging these events. That's why I say Top Rank is merely shooting for par. Like the event that you just saw on Friday, it was at the Desert or Diamond Desert Arena, which is formerly the Gila, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Glendale, Arizona, which is a sub of Phoenix, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the rare events you'll see Top Rank stage that relies on ticket sales. But most of the time, they're just shooting for par. And what I mean by that is they will sell the event to the network and they pay the licensing fee, and then they'll stage it in a casino and merely depend on the casino site fee for all other expenses, and then their job's done. They don't care about ticket sales. They don't care about promotions because their job's already done. That's what I mean. They're shooting for par. It's now the casino's event. They're the ones responsible for ticket sales. The network,
for me,
they're the ones responsible for promotion. Right?
Joe, I'm not sure if you agree with this. I think the site fee era killed boxing a little bit.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. When they started, and this happened in the 90s, this movement, staging all of the major events on sterile casinos, taking them away from mainstream America. Okay, out of sight, out of mind. If they're not taking place in your hamlet, you really couldn't give a rat's ass. So promoters got lazy. They started depending on TV to stage these events. And then they started depending on the big casino site fees for ticket sales. Okay, their job was finished then. Gary Shaw Promotions, Main Events, all of them were guilty of this. Okay? America Presents, the now defunct America, they're all guilty of it. Butch Lewis, they're all guilty of it, guys. Okay, they got lazy. They stopped having to beat their feet to sell tickets. Okay, and I will give Eddie Hearn this, Matchroom Sport. He still beats his feet and does a hell of a job promoting those events in the UK. And even the ones he stages in America, he does a great job trying to sell tickets, right? But before we move forward, Anthony, let's finish greeting, right, our very dear friends in the chat, our extended family members. I want to give a big shout out to my brother, Peter Von Arts. Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us this evening. And he says, I didn't think Ryan could make weight. He's a big boy. Yes. And look, I stood next to him the night before the weigh-in when he was in the TMB Promotions gym on Quintana Road in San Antonio. And he weighed the day before the 139-pound catchweight with Emmanuel Tego. He weighed 144 pounds the day of the weigh-in. He had to kill himself just to make 139. You mean to tell me a kid who's 5'10", coming into his man strength is going to make 136? There's no way in Hades that happens, guys. And trust me when I tell you, and you're hearing this first, that's the next thing they're going to try and renegotiate. And they're going to be able to do it. And why? Because Showtime desperately needs this event. Make no mistake about it. And all the while, painting this picture that, oh, if this fight doesn't happen, it's all Heyman and Steven Espinosa's fault.
It's actually Oscar.
And a lot of people will agree with that. And a lot of people will believe that. And why? Because they don't know what the fuck is going on. Pardon my French. Want to give a big shout out to my brother, Modern King Boxing. Thank you for joining us tonight. And Joseph Brown says, Joseph, you're 100% right. DAZN never made fight cards in my city. Showtime PBC put on fight cards 3 times a year in my city. I have a vested interest in seeing them do well. I like to see live fights. Look, guys, and I will never understand this. If you're not in this business, you really don't understand it. And this is what you're hearing from glorified fans with a camera and a mic. That's all these other YouTube channels are. They've never worked a day in this business, nor will they ever. Yet they're trying to sell you on a line of bullshit that they understand the business, and they don't. These are guys who were hoping for the demise. And what they don't realize, because they're not in this business, is we are one big symbiont circle. We depend on everyone else, including the regional promoters that I work with, to keep these hungry young fighters busy and to cultivate and nurture their careers, right? So here it is. Modern King says, we know you sticking up for Showtime War Week Radio. Good evening. You know what? We should all be trying to hope. We should all be hoping that Showtime Championship Boxing brand survives on Paramount Plus, because it's terrible for the sport if we lose further TV dates. And if you don't feel that way, then you're not a real boxing fan. And yes, I'm not ashamed to say that. And I stand behind that 100%. Guys, this is not good for the sport.
This is where I've been saying this. I think if this fight doesn't produce the amount of money, I think even Amazon originally said they were going to go into the sport of boxing too, and I think they're going to back out of a deal.
And why is that? Because the ratings do not support these high-priced, these high multi-million-dollar purses. They do not support it. That's the problem, guys. And what do fighters like Sean Porter say to Adrian Broner, right? When saying this stuff, right? Oh, well, you know what? That's not our problem. When is it going to be your problem? When you don't have any TV dates anymore? When you're forced to compete on regional fight cards off TV? When is it going to be your problem? Oh, gosh. Look at this. If you're scared, and welcome to the show, Sly. We appreciate you being here, my friend. If you're scared, just say you're scared, Tank. DuckTales hashtag. Look, guys, I'm going to drop the link once again. And please, you were invited to come on and speak your piece, right? Tell me how Tank Davis is avoiding anything when Showtime needs this event. They need this fight to take place. They need the big event to put forth decent numbers to further and continue to breathe some life into the otherwise failed Showtime Championship Boxing brand. Okay? This is essential for the U.S. market. Khalid says this. Wait, what, Joseph? So Oscar is doing a publicity stunt again? Look, this is no different than what he did after signing a new deal with DAZN at the 11th hour, backing out of a fight deal between Charlo and Jaime Munguia, blaming it all on Al Heyman, when in reality, it was him who introduced we need DAZN to be involved. Wait a minute. When were you planning on bringing this up? When contracts had already been revised and have already been printed? Why would you bring that up now and not when we just started negotiating? Hold on. Modern King Boxing. What are you saying? Ryan Garcia doesn't deserve the same A-side transparency for a rematch? Okay, well, why would he be A-side? This is a gentleman who has never made a $5 million gate like Tank Davis just did. He is a big-time mainstream attraction, at least on Instagram. He's got the potential, but when has he ever actually shown you this? He's never been featured on pay-per-view. No, and look, once again, he's got that potential, and in my opinion, this event would make him a much bigger mainstream star. This is a huge event, guys. And once again, what makes it a huge event, both Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis are both mainstream commodities. That means if this event actually materializes, which is still a big if, do you realize how many other mainstream outlets, media outlets would be covering this event that ordinarily don't cover these events? Okay, mainstream outlets, media outlets that won't be in attendance this weekend for Vargas versus Foster.
A lot, most of them.
That's right.
Honestly, this is why I can't.
Okay, so once again, Modern King, come on, just click on the link and tell me how Ryan is the A-side here. Convince me, brother, and I'll listen. Make a case for Ryan being the bigger mainstream event or mainstream attraction. Tell me how he deserves to have A-side consideration, right? Keep in mind, he has no history of it. You tell me how. And Outlaw, welcome to the show, sir. He says, Al Heyman blocking another big fight. You know what? That's just regurgitating ignorance. Okay? Has Al Heyman blocked events in the past? Yes, he has. But you show me an instance where he has since working with future Hall of Fame matchmaker Tom Brown. You look at the product that he's put on Showtime and Fox since working with Tom Brown. Now, if he had done this since 2015, since the conception or the inception of PBC, guess what? They would probably still be a lot more independent. But once again, give me a promotional company that doesn't depend on the money from the licensing fees from these networks or the casino site fees, right? Give me another promotional entity that doesn't depend on these.
This is an honest question.
No major promoter spends their own money to stage these events. Nobody. Give me another major promoter who are staging these events off TV.
Nobody.
That's it. Guys, it's important that you understand. Okay, hold on. PBC going broke. Al needs the money. Look, brother, in America, in the U.S. sports market, that's the same with every promotional entity. They look, on average, promoters get 20% as a whole, on average, right? That's on average. Top Rank, Golden Boy, PBC, and it's entirely dependent on the network licensing fees. You tell me, you give me an example of any of these promoters, Top Rank, PBC, Golden Boy, that stage events off TV. You give me an example of that. It's not just PBC. Guys, we are in a very dire situation. Okay? We are in a very dire situation. And I will say this. Pounds Boxeo states this, and this is a very, very true statement. Oscar's bringing back Thursday night fights. I love it. This is what boxing needs in America. They need another outlet besides Top Rank, Showbox. We need another outlet that shows the progression of these hardworking, talented young fighters. We need to be exposed and introduced to these young fighters. And this is great for boxing. Huh?
Where would Oscar, if he works with a PBC, would they put all these Thursday night fight things on Fox, on FS1, or?
No. It's on DAZN. The Thursday night series is on DAZN, and it's a great one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great one.
I kind of wish ESPN brought back Friday night fights too.
Okay. Well, Pound Boxeo says this. Goosen is a great trainer. Yes. And congratulations to my man, Joe Goosen, for finally making the Hall of Fame. Long overdue. He's an excellent trainer. No one's debating that. But you know what? Ryan's body has the final say in whether or not he's going to make weight. And I'm telling you right now, from seeing it and talking to Joe Goosen, that he's not going to be able to make 136, brother. I will be shocked. He's got to cut off one of his legs or arms to make 136, brother.
And you warned that, and I'm going to bring up another fighter. You warned us multiple times about Teofimo, that he couldn't make weight.
And I told you that, guys.
And I think I'm going to say this. I think Josh Taylor and Subriel Matias are not going to be at 140 any longer. They're going to. Matias looks big for 140. Do you agree?
Look, guys, I can't wait for that fight that's going to be taking place in Minneapolis. In my opinion, Subriel Matias versus Ermias Ponce of Argentina. Guys, that has the potential of being another Fight of the Year candidate. And who's staging these events? It's not Matchroom. It's not DAZN. It's not Golden Boy. Guys, wake up and smell the coffee. We participate in a symbiont community. We all depend on each other. And if one network drops boxing like a bad habit, it's a domino effect. It creates a domino effect. It affects the decision of other platforms like Netflix, like Amazon. Well, why should we invest in boxing? Guys, and this is a very good question, right? If Showtime dies in 2023, whose fault is it? PBC, Heyman, or Showtime Espinosa? No, guys, it's the fans. It's the goddamn fans. Because you tell me. Now, Anthony, I'm going to ask you, last year, 2022, what were the fights of the year in the American U.S. market? In my opinion, that was
I think it was Charlo versus for me.
Charlo versus
Castano.
Castano, or you can make a strong case for Fundora versus Lubin.
Yep.
Who are the promoter and who is the matchmaker for those events?
PBC.
Guys, we've been getting great product.
PBC.
Guys, and look, and I will say this, and you're right on the money. No one wants to see PBC fail harder than Ring IQ. Dude's a failure. Yes, he's a dipshit who has snowed his legion of minions into thinking that he has a clue and understands the business. Dude, he's never attended or worked a prize fight. He's a dipshit who doesn't know the business of boxing, and that's the reality. That's the reality, guys. And if you don't understand that the house is on fire in the American market, then guys, you're part of the problem. Guys, if you really want to see boxing flourish, subscribe. Start financially supporting these events. Because do you really think Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, or do you really think he listens to your voice at this time? The biggest proponents from like that dipshit, he's such a huge proponent of Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Sport and DAZN. Guess what? They don't give a shit what he thinks. And the schedule is proof of this. No, hold on, Tony. Let me give you the schedule. Wood versus Lara for the world featherweight title, the WBA. That's a great matchup. But guess what? That's a regional matchup. That's only a big event in the UK. Callum Smith versus Stipien. That's a regional matchup. Pattinson versus Jenkins. That's dog shit. That's a crossover event. That's a YouTuber dog shit event. Bam Rodriguez versus Gonzalez for the vacant WBO flyweight title. That's the only one that appeals to an American market. Joshua versus Franklin. That's a great fight, but that once again, that appeals to a UK event, a UK market. Taylor versus Serrano 2, UK fight. Rakimov versus Cordina, UK fight. You tell me in all of these events, which one appeals to the U.S. market?
How about Virgil versus Stanionis?
Okay, that's April 29th. That's a Golden Boy event. And yes, let's hope that the DFW crowd turns out. Guys, it's my pleasure to introduce at this time my brother, someone who is a great fight fan, who's someone who doesn't put up with any nonsense from anyone. And that's my brother, Electrojet. EJ, how you doing, my friend?
Up, man? Oh, man, it's good to see you.
Hey, EJ, what's up, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been
great to see you. Great to see you on here, man. And how have you been, brother? Come on.
I'm doing good. I'm getting better.
That is wonderful to hear, my friend.
Oh, hey, Joe, I want to tell EJ something. You already know this, but EJ, I became an uncle, actually.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, my brother.
Man, congratulations. Hey,
but dude, I feel old. It feels so weird saying I'm an uncle. I'm like in my 30s.
Hey, brother, wait till your son or wait till your nephew turns 27 and is a teacher in high school. That's my son right now. Yeah, man, well, I am a geezer. Now, once again, my living is dependent on my voice, right? I do voiceover work, I do ring announcing, I do commentary work, and my voice sounds a lot younger than I actually am. This is why I don't show my big moon pie face on these broadcasts, right?
Why are you going to make me feel bad? Because I got that moon pie face.
No. You're a sight for sore eyes, EJ. You get a pass, my friend. But let me just give a shout out to my brother before we move forward. My brother, John McSmith. Salute to Big Joe in the know. Thank you, brother, for recognizing that I am indeed a working member of this business, and I am here for you guys.
See, Joe, you always talk about you're the guy that you learned the business from.
Don Warwick Chargan. He taught me everything.
I kind of wish I was able. I wish I was able to meet him before he passed away, because my mom, I think, what is it called? Honored him at one of her sports legends dinners, and I never got the chance to meet him. That's
Oh, you know what, man? Don was the sweetest guy, and his honey Lorraine. And let me tell you something about Don Warwick Chargan. He was such a great guy and who loved the sport of boxing. He gave his entire life to it. And after his beloved Lorraine had passed, he said, Joseph, I don't have to, I'm already in the Hall of Fame. I don't have to promote anymore. I don't have to be a matchmaker anymore. I do it and I attend these events because it still keeps me young. And guys, his memoir, I'm finishing up his memoir. It's going to be published for the public later on this year. I was trying to get it done by the final quarter of 2022. It didn't work out. But yeah, my publisher and I are working towards a summer publication. So I hope you guys enjoy this. It has...
Is he a tall guy? Is Don a tall guy?
Well, he was, and then over time, yeah, he became average height. But yeah, he was a tall, scrapping young lad when he was a young promoter. This is a guy who for 25 years, and this is why he was dubbed the moniker War Week, because for the longest time under the promoter Eileen Eden, who was in charge of booking the Olympic Auditorium, the now defunct Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles. He was the chief matchmaker and had to come up with a new fight card every single week. And it was amazing. He did that for 25 years, guys. That's why he was dubbed by everyone involved as Don Warwick Chargan, because he came up with a different fight card every week for 25 years. Think about that. This is a guy who promoted over 5,000 events in his lifetime. How do you do that?
This is, you can't get a good picture of it, but this is my granddaughter that was born just a couple of months ago.
Congratulations on your new little angel and your latest addition to the great Electro Jed family. Congratulations.
I love my
dude, they are angels, and we're all the better for it, my friend.
So like, for me, I heard stories, like, I'm not sure if I heard stories, like, from fighters that worked with, like, I can't remember which fighter did a memoir recently, that he said Don was the best matchmaker he's ever worked with throughout his career.
Look, you look at
I think it was Oscar said that. I think Oscar said that.
Look, go ahead and once again, Don was responsible for Golden Boy becoming a juggernaut in the business of boxing. At one point in time, they were the biggest promoter in the world. They had TV dates on not only Telefutura, Showtime, as well as HBO simultaneously. And once again, Eric Gomez didn't know feces about the fine art of matchmaking. Neither did Roberto Diaz. Don taught them both.
Ooh.
Okay. Steven Espinosa, he was a mere attorney. He knew nothing about the business. He got his start in this business by being Golden Boy's in-house counsel. Richard Schaefer, before getting involved with Golden Boy, he was Golden Boy's financial advisor and had never even attended a live fight. Don taught them all the business. That's what a great man and a huge boxing proponent Don Warwick Chargan was. He taught me everything I know about the business. Joseph, he says this: I'll be in attendance for the Showtime fight in Minneapolis. Fans think that if it ain't Spence versus Crawford, it's not great fights. It's ridiculous. Guys, look at the fight that we were just privileged to watching on Friday on ESPN. That was an amazing fight. Before we move forward, I want to get your thought, EJ, on that supposed controversy in a second. But I do need to give a big shout out to my brother, Big Luke, who's been with me from the beginning. He used to listen to our podcast religiously on the old Eastside Boxing, which is now Boxing News 24. What is Slick Rick's reasons for being so anti-Lou? Well, it's because, once again, I love Rick Glazier, but he can't stand Lou DiBella because he still claims that Lou DiBella robbed him of $8,000. That's it. That's all it is. And this was 20 years ago, right? Wood versus Lara, Pounds Boxeo says is going to be fire. Yes, it is.
I'm saying this. I predict Lara to knock him out in the first round, to be honest. I think it's gonna be a destruction.
You know what? Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure you want to go with that one?
You know what, brother? He may be onto something. Lara, boy, that guy's a ferocious badass. And you know what? He's tougher than nails. And Lee Wood may be out of his league in this fight. And what may be his undoing is his willingness to stand in the pocket and trade. Does he really want to do this against a guy whose, well, modus operandi is to get you to bang on the inside?
We think Navarrete has power, dude.
Well, hold on. Let's listen to EJ. What do you have to say about that, brother?
I'm not gonna sit there and underestimate Wood whatsoever, man. I'm gonna give him.
Yeah. He proved his mettle against Conlon, didn't he?
Yes, he did. So you got to take stuff like that into consideration. I'm not saying that the possibility of it happening is not there, but I'm gonna give him a little more than that. I do think that it might go that way, maybe in the later rounds.
I'm muting myself, EJ and Joe, because I'm gonna go eat.
All right,
Anthony. Thank you so much for being on here, my friend.
Joseph, I came on here specifically. I'm gonna pull a card with you, sir.
Let's hear it, sir.
I'm
Come on.
Pull a card with you, and here's the card I'm gonna pull.
Don't sing it. Bring it.
I'm gonna try my best to go to Plant Benavides.
Yes.
I am going to. I really am. This is gonna be the first fight that I see live since Ali Norton. Okay.
So, you know what? It's going to be a great one. And no, they're not opening up the entire MGM Grand from what I understand, but it's very close to being a sellout. And this should be
that's how come I'm trying to get the tickets right away. I'm hoping
I can be a great event, guys.
My thing is this. This is the card I'm going to pull. Joseph, once upon a time, within the past year, you said that you might, if I was to go to a fight, because you and YB were talking and everything. And I was talking about how the interviews happen. You said, if you ever go to an event, let me know, and I might be able to get you an interview. I am going to call you on that if you can at all. If I can get in there, if I can get tickets to that event, if you can do whatever you can to be able to let me get an interview with anyone, I would appreciate it.
Well, I tell you what, brother, it's going to be game time decision. It's all contingent on what's going on at the time. Like I said, I'm very busy right now because I'm trying to put together and get sponsorship and organize these events, help organize these events on May 3rd and May 12th, respectively, in San Antonio and Floresville.
I'm not
after that.
On the spot. I'm just
after that. When does the fight take place? March 25th, correct?
Yeah, March 25th at the MGM.
Okay,
Grand.
You know what? After these two events take place, I should be free, and yes, I will be there for you, my friend, and we'll meet up. That's a promise.
I would love that, sir.
That would be so much fun, and I will introduce my brother EJ to all of my boxing peeps, everyone that I know in the business, and they'll be very happy to meet you. Because you are, sir, a great boxing ambassador, and I hope you guys realize this. Okay? I hope you guys realize this. You guys are the biggest and consummate ambassadors of the sport that we have in the U.S. market. Guys, it is your responsibility. These are great fights coming up. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors that don't know the difference between a fish hook and a left hook. Show them what a good product is. Talk them through this. Show them what to look for. You guys are the greatest ambassadors of the sport that we have. It's your responsibility at this point. No one can carry the mantle like you guys can. Okay? That's the reality. That's what you guys are doing here on YouTube, but you guys are merely preaching to the choir. Go out and make this work. Promote these fights to your friends and neighbors.
Exactly. And see, let me say, I believe in this. If you believe in the product, this is to everybody in the chat and anyone else who's listening. If you believe in a product enough, it doesn't matter what it is. For me, it's boxing. All right. If you believe in a product enough, that should give you motivation to go out and talk about that product, to promote that product. I believe. Listen, when I saw the press conference, because I watched it live.
Oh, wasn't that fun?
When I watched the press conference, I was so listen. You know, I haven't gone live in a hot minute, right? When I saw this press conference, I immediately went live because I was
Mhm.
so excited.
Yep.
And I missed that. That
Yep.
feeling, I haven't had that kind of feeling for boxing in a long time. But this press conference, that match, this is something I feel is going to be historic. At least for me, it feels like it's going to be historic. I do believe it's going to seriously be historic because I think this boxing match
Let
is
me let me
going to
ask
be.
you. Let me ask you. What do you think of the co-main event? And once again, I broke the news on my brother. Hold on. Let me give a shout out to my brother H Money. Thank you for joining us tonight, brother. And as soon as I'm finished with this, I'm going to jump on your platform because if you remember, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I broke the news on your platform saying that the co-main event of Plant Benavidez was going to be Jesus Ramos versus Joey Spencer. Do you remember that? I told you that on your platform, right? And this was 3 weeks ago before it was officially announced. So let me ask you, EJ, what do you think of that co-main event? Who wins and why?
Ramos.
¿Por qué, señor?
Ramos. Ramos is determined. He's got a sense of determination on him and sheer will that on that alone he can win. But I mean, don't get me wrong, his opponent's not just going to sit over. He's not going to just keel over and let him take it. It's going to be a good fight. But I got Ramos 7 or 8. I got Ramos 7 or 8. It's gonna. And
You know
it's
what?
gonna be. It's gonna be. It's gonna be a stop.
You know what? I wholeheartedly agree with your assessment, brother. And once again, I'm not sold on Joey Spencer. I haven't been. He's got the potential, but he's not nearly as good as his team thinks he is. And
there's
he is
nothing
going to
wrong
get
with being confident.
he is going to get a hard introduction to big time boxing against Jesus Ramos. Jesus is going to open up a major can of whoop ass and humble this kid.
It's and it's not that I don't want the kid to go down there because the kid has some talent. Don't get me wrong, but there's nothing wrong. First of all, people need to learn there's nothing wrong with losing a fight. It's what you get from the fight and how you lose the fight that determines how you're going to continue your career in boxing.
That's absolutely right. And case in point, look at Liam Wilson this past Friday. Okay. This is a guy whose stock was dramatically raised, even getting viciously knocked out in the 9th because he put forth such a gallant effort. I can't wait to see him fight again. Hopefully, he didn't lose very much by this knockout loss.
No, he didn't lose anything.
Because he took a beating, though, brother.
I think if anything, he gained respect. Listen, he gained my respect, but then I'm one of those fight fans that I look at the game from a completely different. I don't consider a zero that important. I consider the heart of a fighter, the work that he puts into his matches, how he fights. And I'm telling you, the way because he fought the way he fought. And there's there's a little nitpicking I'm going to do because I'm a little upset with some fans on YouTube, and you'll understand why.
Well, go ahead and state your case. The floor is yours, my friend. Go ahead and preach, my friend.
Here's what I think. I mean, the way he fought, all right, it made me more interested in his career. I want to see if this was a one-time thing or if it's going to continue. So that got my curiosity piqued. I'm going to watch more of his fights. I watched some of his highlights before, but now I'm going to be intent on watching his career. Very, very fine with the tooth comb to make sure I follow this guy and know what's going on.
Indeed.
Now, what has made me upset is that people. what made me upset is that too quickly fans want to jump on a bandwagon talking about Navarrete. Navarrete's live. Navarrete was trash. He's been trash since I said it. And that because he had this much trouble with a young fighter. Number one, boxing is a very strange game. It doesn't always go by the numbers. Most of the time it does, but it doesn't always go by the numbers because one punch can change the outlook of a whole fight.
That's right.
And people don't seem to understand that. I did not lose any respect for Navarrete. If
Nope.
anything, I gained respect because not only did he get viciously knocked down, mind you, he also got hit again as he was on the ground.
Unfairly. Yep. It was
And he
should have
still,
resulted in a point deduction at
yeah,
least.
and he still got up. All right. Now people talk about the mouthpiece out. Spence spit out the
Ah.
mouthpiece when Ubas hit him illegally, and he spit out the mouthpiece to give him some time to let him catch his faculties. Nothing
I
wrong.
don't know. I don't know if it's a product as well as this. And Coach Gogi and I went over this last night. It's still on if you guys want to listen to it. Coach Gogi,
I
once
watched
again,
it last night.
yeah. See, Coach. Yeah, thank you for being there, my friend. So Coach Gogi noticed this. He said, "Look, that's not a custom fitted mouthpiece. You've got to pry that sucker out of the jaw of a fighter. If it's a custom fitted mouthpiece, it doesn't just loosely come out." Now he's not convinced that Navarrete spit the mouthpiece out. He says, look, he didn't look like he was there. He was out on his feet. It could have easily just fallen out because it wasn't a custom fitted mouthpiece. And once again, that's the luxury we have of being able to listen to an experienced guy who has experience of 5 decades in this business.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that coach's eye. That's what we depend on. We learn so much from guys like Gogi and Ronnie every single week.
Exactly. My
And
thing is, it's
you
not
can't
an
with that.
uncommon move, though, Joseph. It's not. So I don't understand because Navarrete did it. It's oh my God, how dare he? Well,
Oh,
but I
geez.
bet if it was your fighter, no, it's a common move.
Look,
And
it's no different than taking a knee. If you're hurt, like that's the outcome of Friday night's fight is a difference in levels of experience. You got a guy who has 38 fights going into that, right?
Right.
Okay, he's got the wherewithal and the experience to be able to buy himself some time when he's genuinely hurt. What's the difference between that and clinching when you're hurt? Clinching it. There's no difference. Well, okay, what's the difference in you take a young Floyd Jr. taking a knee when he broke both hands against the hard noggin of my brother, Carlos El Famoso Hernandez? What's the difference? The intent is the same. You're trying to buy yourself more time to recover.
To catch your faculties. And
that's
happens.
it.
And you got and then people make it, oh, it's a long count. It's about the same count that Wilson got when Wilson got knocked down.
Look, why didn't Wilson take a knee when he was getting pummeled along the ropes rather than getting stopped? That's it. That's it. It's you look at veteran experience compared to a guy who hasn't been on this big stage for a while.
Exactly.
He's never been on this stage. That was the difference in the fight. Both guys put forth a gallant effort, and I can't wait to see them both back in the ring. With that said, EJ, do you think Liam Wilson did enough to deserve a shot against the eventual winner between Navarrete and Oscar Valdez?
Okay. Legitimately, no. But you want to hear my reason?
Let's hear it.
There are too many at 130 that deserve that chance. Not that he's not willing and not deserving himself, but you got other people in line, and he just now had his shot, and he almost got it.
Mm-hmm.
He almost got it, but there are other people in line that are also deserving. That might sound cliche, but it's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Hey, before we go any further, EJ, let me just point this out from my brother Izzy, right? And he's a great fight fan and a great ambassador of the sport. Keep doing what you do, Izzy. We love you, brother. He says, on 218, I'll be in Pomona, California, see Neri versus Ovanesian. Great matchup. That is a great card on Golden Boy DAZN. And on 2023, I'll be at Indio, California, the Fantasy Springs Casino, to see Ramirez versus Padilla. This is Showtime Championship boxing on DAZN. This is what the sport needs to be introduced to a lot of great young talent. Guys, there's so many great fighters. So many great, hardworking young fighters that deserve this shine. And you know what? Credit to you, brother. And once again, he points this out. These are both his own cards, but I don't care who it is. That's it. That's it. It doesn't matter, guys. Look, real fight fans like my brother Issy, we support all platforms. We are interested in the health of the sport. Yes. Everything else is a very distant second. That's it.
I gotta ask you, Joseph.
Let's hear it.
What did you think of my answer? Did you agree with it, or do you feel that Wilson should get that shot? And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, personally.
Well, I will say this. Well, whether he deserves it or not, and let's go to my brother Peter Von Arx. He says, I think Wilson did enough, and he's in line. So it is what it is. Guys, he's going to get it, and let me tell you why. He has a very good working relationship with Top Rank Boxing.
Oh, has it been already confirmed that he does?
No, it hasn't, but he's going to get it. Because look, his showing, okay, especially if they put it back in Glendale. Now, once again, from what I'm hearing, they want to strike while the iron's hot. Now, EJ, you can't deny this. Valdez versus Navarrete is a much hotter fight now after Friday night's festivities. Right?
Listen, it's going to be such a hot ticket because now they think.
Yep, and look, they're going to put it back in the Desert Diamond Arena.
Right.
Exactly where it should be. Right. And depending on who wins that, if Navarrete wins that, yes, a Wilson rematch would be a hot ticket. If Valdez wins that, that'd be interesting to see how he fares against Wilson. Either way, Wilson's going to get that rematch. He's going to get the eventual winner. He's got a great working relationship with Top Rank, and that's a very sellable event.
And I, you know, just because I said what I said, and that's how I truly feel. I don't mince words. Just because I said what I said, I have no problem with that.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. There's so much talent at 130 pounds. Yes,
exactly.
And that you can make a strong case for them being more deserving. But this is a hot fight. This is a hot matchup now. And you know what?
While the iron is hot, you got.
You know what? And Wilson earned it the hard way by walking through fire.
Yeah.
You can make a strong case for that. No, want to welcome JD Spades to the show. Welcome to the show, sir. And he says, I'll beat the Alamo for Vargas versus Foster. That's coming Saturday, February 11th. What are your guys' take on the fight? I'll be there ringside as well. If you see my big moon pie Hispanic face, long hair, in a suit, come and say hi, brother. All right? Yeah, and I can't wait to see Mario Barrios, how he looks against Giovanni Santiago on that undercard. He's a dear friend of mine, and I'm going to be working with his co-trainer, right? And he's trained right now by Bob Santos. His co-trainer is a good friend of mine, Ricky Nunez, right? Who actually is the promoter. And let me just show this real quick, brother, okay? Hold on. That's South Park Boxing Academy, right? That's going to be the promoter for the event that I'm going to be ring announcer for March 12th, right? He's also going to be in Mario Barrios' corner, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he looks. I don't like this matchup, but coming off of 2 losses to Tank Davis and Keith Thurman, this is understandable, right?
Right.
Understandable. Just to see where he is. And they put him on the card because he's a ticket seller in San Antonio, which is understandable. Okay. And he's also, and guys, if you're interested, he's also going to be at my event on March 12th. So he's going to be ringside for that.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
This weekend's boxing has been like stellar.
Outstanding.
This year started off great, but
outstanding.
I got to put it to you. And I feel like you might be slightly biased, but you'll say, because I believe you'll be honest about it.
Wait a minute. You said I'll be slightly what?
I think you might be slightly biased, but I know you as a person. I know you that you'll say
Come on,
you're
brother.
biased.
Let me have it. Let me have it with both barrels. Go ahead.
Considering all the matches that happened this weekend, all right, and what has been projected, who performed better this weekend, DAZN or ESPN Plus? And please elaborate.
Okay. Seeing that it's on ESPN, yeah, when the ratings come in, yeah, it's going to be ESPN. But look, I because Amanda Serrano is a genuine ticket seller and a genuine attraction in New York, and now if you notice, listen to my channel leading up to this event, I didn't say one negative thing about this event. I just didn't talk about it really, right? But yeah, it had two really great fights. Had Richardson Hitchens, right, who's a very talented guy, from Brooklyn, and Eddie Hearn did the right thing. Now signed under Matchroom Sport, featuring this gentleman in his home hamlet, right?
Right.
I thought it was a great event. I thought it was a terrific event. But look, there's no comparison. And now, once again, you're going to force me to bring out the negative of this entire. Thank you, EJ. I appreciate it. But you can't compare the two. They're completely different products. It's apples to oranges, right? I understand that Amanda Serrano has become a major attraction in New York. That's great. And if it promotes the health of the sport and it furthers the health of the sport, I'm all for it. God knows it's a step up from guys like Jake Paul or KSI. Okay? She's a real fighter.
Yeah.
But with that said, you can't compare the two. Okay, you look at the 130-pound weight division, right? And I'm going to talk about Emmanuel Navarrete, right?
Mm-hmm.
According to BoxRec, he is the number 2 ranked super featherweight in the world in a pool of 1,612 worldwide. Right?
Okay.
Amanda Serrano, she became the undisputed in the women's featherweight division, correct?
Right.
Out of a pool of only 198 fighters globally. When you look at the talent pool and consider there's no comparison, guys. And once again, I don't want to ever again shit on women's boxing. If that's what you guys like, if that's what you guys support, God knows she's a bigger ticket seller than most men. But you can't compare the two.
Not yet.
Not even close, dude.
No.
Once again, 1,600 globally compared to 198.
Trust me, I'm not arguing this point with you because you're absolutely correct. Trust me when I say, this question wasn't for confrontation's sake or for argument's sake. It wasn't. It was strictly a knowledge-based question. I'm asking an experienced person who has been in the industry. I want your honest take on this.
Yeah, you know what?
You're saying what I expected you to say.
Yeah, you know what, man, though? It puts me in a very difficult position because there are a lot of new fans of women's boxing. And you know what? If that furthers the health of the sport, that's what I'm predominantly interested in.
Exactly.
Okay? And trust me, they're much better ambassadors of the sport than guys like Jake Paul and KSI. With that said, guys, it's my pleasure to welcome back my brother, Anthony Manzano. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Honest, Joe, this is an honest question. Were Christina Hammer and Layla Ali big ticket sellers by chance?
Layla Ali was, without a doubt, and she was a tremendous ambassador of the sport. Right? This is why Bob Arum featured her on all of those undercards, as well as Christy Martin. Right? And women's boxing is much further along now. Okay? Much further along than back then. But it's still incomparable
It's
to the
still
men's
in
bracket. There's no comparison, guys.
it's
And I
still in
can't
its
stand people
infancy.
who consistently try and compare the two. Like, and once again, I love her promoter, Dimitri Salita. He's a great guy. And I've told this story before, and no one will ever be able to convince me that he's not a great guy. And I'll tell you this story in a second. But let me just address this real quick. JD Spade says, March 12th in San Antonio, what venue will this card be taking place at? It's the Shrine Auditorium on 1604 in San Antonio. I'm going to be ring announcing. And guys,
so Joe, I have a question.
Well, hold on. We're going to be featuring Hector Tarahara, Javi Fernandez. This is Daniel Cortez. These guys are Robert Garcia trained fighters. He's going to be in attendance as well. So if you're in the area, come and say hi, guys. Buy a ticket. It's going to be amazing.
As a boxing
hold on.
fan.
Peter Von Arts has the beat. Says, I will always be an Erica Cruz fan from now on. Boy, she brought it. And Amanda Serrano, to her, well, she was very sporting. She was willing to engage rather than boxing her intelligently from mid to long range. She said, okay, I'll buy it. I'm going to sit in the pocket and trade with you. Boy, it made for a great fight for the fans now, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yep. And
I think actually, to be completely fair and honest, Joseph, I think it was the smart thing to do. And here's why. I think what was smart about it is I felt she felt confident enough to be in the pocket. And then the intelligent part about it is that she wants to entertain not only the fans in the venue, but the fans across the world.
EJ, that's great in theory, but do you really think a fighter, when they're in the ring, puros chingazos, brother, do you really think they're thinking of entertaining the fans at that point? No.
No.
Now, I think Amanda Serrano, she's got that balls. She's got those balls, man.
Well,
she lets them hang in the ring.
She has confidence.
Exactly. And she's one of those fighters that either fights up or fights down to her level of competition. Erica Cruz,
which makes for entertainment, which makes for good.
Well, it does, but I guarantee you, fighters at that point when they're in the ring, yeah, they're not thinking of that. They're instinctually instinctively just going at it.
I've known some
it's become a reflex.
Want to entertain. I've heard them say it themselves. I've heard some boxers in interviews saying, I want to give these guys.
That's for the sake of the media, brother.
So Joe,
that's what, look. Most of this is for the sake of the media, right? Very seldom do you ever see and you brought up Plant Benavidez' press conference, and yeah, you have every reason to be excited about that.
Right.
And there's genuine bad blood there.
Yes.
But in most press conferences, in most business mergers, now keep in mind, guys, make no mistake about this, and I don't want to burst your bubble, but in most of these partnerships, they're business partners. Guys, all of these fighters, they know each other. They've either fought each other in the amateurs or have sparred each other on the way up.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows each other. There's no genuine bad blood here. Very seldom is there. Like all of the Canelo bad blood that he had for Gennady Golovkin, did he show you any semblance of that when they actually fought?
No.
That was all for the sake of selling a matchup that no one was really interested in. And that's what you see most of the time. That's just the business of it. That's for the sake of the fans and the media. But for all intents and purposes, guys, they are business partners. They are thankful for this opportunity. Now, in the case of Benavidez and Plant, they genuinely don't like each other. And I will tell you this as an insider, I don't know very many people that actually like Caleb Plant. I know everyone that has respect and genuinely likes Jose Benavidez Sr. and David Benavidez. Everyone likes them. But Caleb Plant, I can tell you honestly, even people from Philly, even people from the Appalachians, I don't know anyone who genuinely likes Caleb Plant. And he carries that around, and is doing a great job promoting this event. He carries it around, that chip on his shoulder, to where everyone can see it. And I think we're all going to be the beneficiaries of it. I think it's going to be a great event. My only criticism of this event is that it's on pay-per-view. Damn it! 10 years ago, this would be on regular Showtime Championship Boxing.
I didn't think it was on pay-per-view. I thought it was going to be.
Nope, this is on pay-per-view, brother. Damn it! And
yeah,
this is
because I plan on going there. I didn't think about the pay-per-view part.
So this is a result of where we are within the business of boxing, because of their steep pre-fight demands in terms of guaranteed purse. Showtime has no choice but to put this on pay-per-view, attaching it to the pay-per-view revenue stream, and this is what's wrong with the business of boxing.
Yeah.
In my opinion, this would gain a lot more traction if this were on regular subscriber Showtime, because of where we are right now in the American sports market. Showtime has elected to attach the pay-per-view revenue stream to try and recover as much money as possible. That's not good. So this is virtually guaranteeing that no one's going to see this. It's obscuring the sport's best product. Like, these are the matchups that everyone needs to see. But unfortunately, it's behind the pay-per-view paywall. So guess what? No mainstream and casual fans are going to see this.
So, Joseph, I have a question when it comes to that. Can you do it? Can you do a pay-per-view paywall on top of having it on free TV, or no? That can't work.
No, it's got to be one or the other. Look, and you can say that the great majority of diehard fight fans, and this is why they don't listen to you. And I'm telling you guys this for your own good. This is why they don't listen to you any longer. This is why Matchroom Sport and DAZN, they don't give a shit what you think, because they've already tried appeasing and listening to the demands of the diehard fight fans. But because you're not financially supporting the sport any longer, they don't give a shit. Joey Chaz, I mean you. Welcome to the show, sir. He said pay-per-view, more like view for free online. This is why they don't give a shit what you think. And they're saying, look, he's not going to support it anyway. He's going to stream it illegally for free.
Well, yeah, unfortunately that is the case. But here's the thing. And when I personally purchase a pay-per-view, all right, yes, I'm not going to say I'm not guilty of watching a free stream or two here or there, all right, if I can. But here's the problem with free streaming, and I know everybody in the chat is going to understand this. With free streaming, you take a chance on not being able to watch the entire fight.
Well, look, EJ, this is a sure telltale sign, right? You can always tell who streamed these events illegally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're the ones who are the biggest whiners and bellyachers. Because no one who purchases an event, they don't want to feel ripped off. They want to like the event. They want to see some satisfaction in their investment. So you can always tell who the people that illegally stream this, because they're the biggest ones who complain about these events. Oh, that was a shit fight. Really? Well, that tells me that you didn't spend a goddamn penny. That's what that tells me. Because anyone who invests their hard-earned money in these events, they want to like it. No one who spends $80 or $70 or $50, even $20, if they spend anything, if they invest anything in these events, they want to like it. And they will point out the good points. They will point out the good parts in their investment.
Yeah, they don't want to feel like they got shafted.
Exactly.
I understand that. But again, the true matter of it, and Joseph, I don't know if you've gone through this, but I have. I mean, I've seen I've seen a couple of streams where I didn't pay for it, and lo and behold, you missed part of that fight. But when you pay, in which fights that I want to see, I'm going to pay for it because I don't want no interruptions.
Yeah.
I don't want no
Well, look,
lag.
especially, and Bob Aaron brought up a really good point. He said, you know what? Since COVID, no one's inviting their friends over to watch these events because who wants to have an interruption in their feed when they are entertaining guests? Chances are, if they invite friends over, they're going to purchase the real feed. So it's uninterrupted. And he is right on the money. Okay. So, and look, I'm very, very fortunate because I write for FightSaga.com and I have a very good relationship with Lee Cleveland, the editor of Fight Saga. I don't have to pay for any of these events. They're all paid for by Fight Saga.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky
That's yeah. Look. Now I earned that though. Yeah. This comes from when they were fighting for readers, right? And this was 12 years ago, 13 years ago. I left Eastside Boxing and I left Fight News to come and work for Lee Cleveland, and I started from the ground up. So I've earned that. I put in the blood, sweat, and tears, and I've written when they didn't have a following. And then it's like they've lost a lot of that following over the past several years since COVID, since boxing has become a big fringe pastime in the U.S. market, right? But I still get it support. I still have Fight Saga purchasing my events for me, right?
So, Joe, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to you done promotion all around Texas, or you just do it in San Antonio?
All around Texas, sir.
Before this venue closed down, 20 years ago, did you ever do an event at the old Sportatorium?
Sportatorium, where is that? Sportatorium.
Dallas.
No, I never did. No, I wasn't doing all around Texas back then. No. I predominantly just help promoters in South Texas, East Texas, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Like, yeah, but guys, Texas, let me just tell you, if you really want to contribute, right now, keep in mind this event that we're going to have on March 12th, it's featuring Hector Tanajara and Daniel Cortez, two Robert Garcia fighters, right? As well as a budding prospect, undefeated, Javi Fernandez. This is a great fight card. And if you notice, and when you attend these regional events, they will often feature fighters that are signed with bigger promoters. And they do this just to keep them busy. So guys, if you want to contribute to the health of the sports, support your regional fight cards. They are the future of boxing in America. Guys, go out and support these events. Go to the weigh-ins. Go to the press conferences. Attend these events. Get to know these fighters. Make videos of these fighters. Right? If you guys really want to participate, go do that.
I have to start doing that here in New Mexico.
Yeah, no, and the issue with me, I want to support the sport of boxing, but I would have to drive all the way to Miami or Orlando, which is 2 hours away, because Tampa doesn't really have local venues.
Well, I tell you what then. Go to your local gyms in Tampa. I know several. Okay? Go shoot videos. Go do interviews. Post them on YouTube. Start a channel. Give these guys shine. Give these guys some, and get to know these trainers. Get to know these fighters. Learn more. Like, guys, I didn't just magically snap my fingers and understand the business like I do. Guys, I worked my ass off, and I was humble enough to fucking listen. Let me ask you something, EJ.
Sure.
Clowns like Ring IQ, because he was brought up earlier in this broadcast. Clowns like that. Do you really think a guy like Don Chargan or Emmanuel Stewart or James Gogi will waste their time with that ass clown?
I don't think so.
Fuck no. I can tell you honestly, I was humble And look, when I first entered into this business, I thought I was hot shit. I thought I was an expert. And why? Because compared to my neighbors and my friends, I thought I knew everything about boxing compared to them. But unless you've actually worked a day in this business, boy, it's very humbling. When you listen to guys like Emmanuel, like Don, like James, like Ronnie Shields, man, you realize very quickly you don't know shit. And the only way you learn is if you shut the F up and listen. You listen and you learn. Let me tell you, if I said something around Emmanuel that he didn't like, boy, he gave me the look of death. He looked right through me, and I'm like, oh, shit. What did I say, Emmanuel? And he would correct me, and I would learn from it. I wouldn't argue with him because this is a guy who made this sport what it is. Don was a guy who made this sport what it is. Bob, Bruce Trampler, Brad Goodman, all of these great guys.
King.
Don King. Okay? They're guys who made this sport what it is today. So you shut the F up and you listen. That's how you learn. Man, James taught me everything. Emmanuel taught me everything. Don taught me everything. I wouldn't have this channel if it weren't for them. And let me tell you from experience, they would never waste their time on a fucking blowhard who's a glorified fan with a camera and a mic like that ass clown, Ring IQ.
So I was just gonna say, because I'm not gonna. My thing is because I know the guy not that well. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're not.
Oh, he's a fucknut, and he's an egocentric narcissist.
He's a glorified fan. He's a glorified fan.
That's all he is.
That's basically all I get from him, and I understand where you're coming from. I totally get it. But then that puts a question mark over my head because I am a fight fan as well. But I like the intricacies of the sport. And
here's the difference. Here's the difference. You understand that you don't know everything. Right. And you're humble enough to listen. And once again, EJ, do we ever have debates? No, we have discussions.
Exactly.
His platform is contingent upon debates. He loves arguing with other fans. That's it. That's it. And dude, and go and listen to his bullshit. They actually argue about nonsense. It's just noise and nonsense.
No, my big issue.
It's nothing productive, and you don't learn a damn thing, do you?
I start zoning out when people start becoming fanagers and pocket watchers. I can't stand that.
Look. This should be the red flag, guys. If you hear any YouTuber choose and prefer one platform over another and hope for the demise of a promoter or platform, that's a huge red flag, guys. Turn and run as quickly as you fucking can.
All right, but I got a question for you then.
Yes, sir.
On that subject, I am a proponent of promotion companies not having as much power as they do, being able to control a narrative as hard as I see, or as hard as it appears.
Give me an example. Give me an example, EJ.
All right, example like this. You refuse to create a fight, or a company doesn't want, or it seems as though they don't have enough faith in their product, which is being the boxer.
Let me tell you where that's a problem from and where that stems, right?
Sure.
That's the networks. Now, in the past, if a guy like Lou DiBella, who was the president of HBO Sports,
right,
if he wanted a matchup, he had the money, he had the TV dates to be able to hold the promoter's feet to the fire, saying, look, you better give me this matchup. Or do you really think we're going to be able to, you really think we're going to showcase your prospects on HBO Boxing After Dark? Hell no. Look for another platform to feature all of your young fighters. If you don't give us this matchup, you better give us this matchup, or else find another network. Have fun with Friday Night Fights on ESPN, Junior.
That's what's happened. That's what
Oh,
I see is
okay.
happening
So
now.
it's the networks. No one they don't have a Lou DiBella, who's the head of who's in charge of funding this boxing entertainment. So now they're dumb enough, right? And they're not boxing savvy enough to where they have developed farm systems. They just say, hey, Top Rank, here's $100 million investment. Okay. Make the best matchups and just give us between 25 and 30 dates per year. And we're happy. Okay. They trust the promoters. And what are the promoters going to do? Okay. In the immortal words of Bob Arum, look, Joseph, Top Rank is going to do what's best for Top Rank. He told me this back when he was still on HBO. They're going to do what's best for their organization and their fighters. Okay? If you leave them to their own devices, that's what they're going to do. Okay?
Got you.
And that's what's wrong with the situation today.
That's
no
what's
one is holding their feet to the fire and demanding the best matchups, saying, I don't give a shit. This is the matchup we want to see. I don't care if it means working across enemy lines. That means nothing to us. We want this fight. You go out and make it, damn it. And if you don't, well, guess what? We're going to yank funding from your prospect fights, from your farm system fights, because this isn't good enough.
So what do we do as fans? Fans and people that legit put money into the sport. So that's it. That's the dilemma. Because not enough diehard fans are paying for this. They're not financially supporting the sport any longer, even though we're the only ones savvy enough to understand what's really going on. So they've resorted, look at the zone schedule, right? Why is on Eddie Hearn's schedule? Why is there a date for Pattinson versus Jenkins? That's a damn YouTuber event. That's a crossover event. Why is that even on the schedule? Because once again, they've given up on you guys. They're like, we tried that. They're not subscribing. They're not paying for the events. They're not paying for subscriptions to the zone. So we're going to try to appeal to a more mainstream and casual demographic. That's it. So hold on. Going to give a shout out to my brother, Izzy. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging with us for almost an hour and 40 minutes. He's very profound, Mr. Heron. Discussions, not debates. That's it. You will never hear me argue with Anthony, nor EJ, or anyone who's on this platform. Like, think about this, guys. I just interviewed James Gogi last night. Could you ever fathom in a million years me arguing with a guy who has 5 decades of experience in this business?
No.
And you're not going to hear it. And so JD says, well said, Emmanuel Stewart's interview on Rummy's Corner about heavyweight boxing history taught me there are levels to boxing knowledge. Highly recommend, must go listen to it. And yes, Rumsfeld is his last name. He was a very dear friend of Emmanuel, just as I was, right? And this was at the tail end of Emmanuel's life. And he always spoke highly of Rumsfeld. And so, yes, I have a great amount of respect. If he devoted any kind of time to someone, then that commands respect. And yes, go listen to anything that comes out of Rummy's mouth, because he learned a geyser of knowledge from just being around and being able to talk to Emmanuel on the daily, right? So, and once again, let me give a shout out to my brother, G Funky. Thank you for joining us, sir. And I tell you what, if you're anywhere near your mic, I'm going to drop the link. If you want to come on, cool. If you don't, well, that's acceptable as well. But thank you for being here, G Funky. And if you guys haven't already subscribed, please go subscribe to my brother G Funky. And look, here's my first shot of the evening, right? EJ, Anthony, everyone in the chat, here's to you guys. I'm going to be dropping some Sweet Amber, and I'm going to be drinking from this point forward for the end of the evening. EJ, can you take a shot with me, brother?
Let me show you.
Right on, brother. Here's to you, my friend. God bless you, my brother. Yo, you have the Kraken, don't you? Rum. Yes. See, I recognize that stuff, man. So here's to you, EJ. Let me know when you're ready to do a shot with me, brother.
Wait a second.
And the more, the merrier, guys.
I got to pussy it down with a little bit of Coke.
Dude, no shame in your game, my friend. But Pounds Boxeo, yes, Sweet Amber. You know what Sweet Amber is, right? Metallica even wrote a song about it. That's Jack Daniels, old number 7. That's my poison. Here's to you, EJ. Here's to you, Anthony. Here's to everyone.
Salud.
Here's
Salud
to our extended family in the chat. God bless you, EJ. And you know what, brother? Good to see you here. You're a sight for sore eyes, my friend. God bless you, my friend.
It's good to see you too, brother. Good to see everybody. I'm glad I'm back.
Yeah,
we are glad you're back.
While you guys are drinking, this is what I was thinking. I kind of hope what I'm a huge Disney fan. I kind of hope a guy like Bob Iger. No, I'm gonna. He owns ESPN. What I kind of hope he does is maybe bring a former promoter and put him at install him in ESPN.
Two things will I will never understand this. When Ken Hirschman was on his way out, Don was trying to lobby for the position of president of HBO Sports, and I was his biggest proponent. And what they told me was, well, we like to hire attorneys, okay, to protect the interests of HBO when it comes to contracts, deals, agreements, things of that nature, right? That's understandable, but most of the time, you're not going to find that perfect storm like Lou DiBella. It was such a fortuitous find. Not only did you get a Harvard Law graduate, but you also got a real, genuine boxing guy. When does that happen? It doesn't. It doesn't.
What name did you say? Bob Iger?
Yep.
You mean the Disney CEO?
Yeah, he owns ESPN. He owns ESPN.
But he doesn't oversee that though. He doesn't oversee ESPN Sports. At least not their boxing division.
Yeah, no, he's the CEO of Disney. Disney owns ESPN. Yeah.
Look, let me tell you, and JD Spades has the beat, guys. He says Peter Nelson killed HBO boxing. That is 100% true. Bravo, brother. Very well
Who's
said.
Peter Nelson?
Peter Nelson, he was the ass clown who took over after Ken Hirschman walked away from HBO. Right? And this is once again what you were just talking about. What these networks need are boxing guys to oversee the activity, because Peter Nelson, he knew nothing about the sport. Nothing. Look, this is a guy who refused to put Terrence Crawford versus Victor Postal on regular subscriber HBO, just merely looking at the numbers, not understanding that this had no business being on pay-per-view. Yeah. And Bob Arum was like, and that was the end of Top Rank on HBO. They were like, look, Bob was like, look, if this is a matchup that doesn't have any business being on pay-per-view. You're basically guaranteeing that no one's going to see it. And if no one's going to see one of our best products, then we don't have any business being on this platform any further. And after that, they left and they signed a deal with ESPN. And that was basically the end. of boxing on HBO. Do you remember at the tail end of HBO's involvement in boxing when they were given main events the majority of the TV dates and they didn't have enough talent to support it? Do you remember HBO talking about the Hebrew Hammer?
No, I was
trying to promote that guy.
I actually do remember that.
That was disgraceful. Now you're talking about a platform that cultivated the biggest stars of boxing over the last 30 years. And now they're promoting the Hebrew Hammer?
Yeah, you
have their biggest star was what's his name? Who's the former light heavyweight that Canelo knocked out? What's his name? I want to say Nikolai Volkov, but that's not it.
No,
what's his name?
God damn it. No, I'm old, and give me a second. I'll give you the name.
Yeah, the guy who got knocked out by Andre Ward in the rematch.
I know who you're talking about.
I can't even remember his name now. Because once again, it's probably Sweet Amber talking, but G Funky's like, I remember the Hebrew Hammer. Can you believe he was getting prime time selection on HBO? Oh, yes, thank you. Sergey Kovalev. He was there. He was there at the tail end of HBO's participation in the business of boxing. He was their biggest star. That's how far HBO had fallen. They were giving us dog shit. And that was under Peter. So once again, he's got the beat. JD Spades, Peter Nelson killed HBO boxing. Yes, and why? Because of what EJ was saying. These networks need someone running things that actually have a clue, that actually know boxing. Do you really think the brass at DAZN, when you consider their investment in other sports globally, when you look at their investment in boxing, it's a mere fraction of what they invest in other sports. When you look at their complete loss of $60 billion since their inception, a microcosm of that, a small fraction of that is boxing. That's not going to determine whether they flourish or crash and burn. Guys, boxing has become a fringe commodity pretty much everywhere, with the exception of a handful of attractions. So, Sid UK, welcome to the show, sir. He says, surprised they weren't called anti-Semitic for calling someone Hebrew Hammer. Never heard of him. Thank God for that. Well, look, this is before cancel culture, right? Before people were looking for things to cancel, right? Not giving a shit what it is, just wanting dominion over you. Oh, geez. Barry Horowitz, the real Hebrew Hammer. Oh, that's WWF. I love that. Wasn't Barry Horowitz the one-hand clap, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't
that was him.
I thought he was the heart punch. The guy that did. I could be.
No. The heart punch was Mean Mark Callis before he became the Undertaker. No, I'm talking about Barry Horowitz. He was the guy, the one-hand slap, right? Would pat himself on the back for doing a good move, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I remember what you're talking about.
See, I love G Funky, man. He's like, dude, he's been following the WWF since I was. Like, I love classic wrestling.
Yeah, I'm a Bruno Sammartino fan.
Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, yes.
Yeah. That's
Junkyard Dog.
Yes, Junkyard Dog, yes. That's great.
So this is where this is why I'm saying, let's say Stephen let's say Showtime goes out of the boxing. Let's say, do you think, that's why I'm asking, do you think a guy like Steven Espinosa then would go over and try to get...
Well, look, guys, EJ, please answer this and give your opinion on this, because I have to go take a Veda drug test right now. Okay, so I'm going to be back in a couple minutes, but EJ, please, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Well, what was the question again? Just so
okay. Let's say the fight with Ryan and Tank doesn't make as much as Showtime Boxing doesn't expects it to, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Do you think? This is where I'm going with this. Do you think a guy like Bob, the guy who owns Disney, tries to get in contact with Steven and put him in the head of the boxing division at ESPN
I don't
to
think that
do
could
all the?
I to be completely honest, I don't think so.
Why?
And besides the fight between Tank, if it happens, is the fight between Tank and Garcia has nowhere to go but up, because on an individual basis, each one of them has platforms of their own that they're incredibly popular on, that are faithful to those two individuals. So I do believe that fight, whether most fight fans appreciate it or not, that fight is going to make money. It's
Okay.
going to make money. It may not do the ridiculous numbers
That they're
let's say,
expecting is what I'm saying.
it may not do, but it's going to make money.
Okay.
Because of the individual's popularity with their particular platforms. Although Tank, in my opinion, has a more respectable platform, because most, I would say, at least
He's with
90,
TNT.
95, they're Latino and Hispanic boxing fans are following Davis, and he, and then of course so is Garcia's. But Garcia's fandom mostly comes from IG, and now he's a big part of TikTok. So he's got a lot of young fans that are coming into the sport, that just want to see him for him. So yeah, that's going to make money. It may not make, like I said, the ridiculous amount of money that is predicted, but it is going to be made. There is money to be made. You won't lose money on it. There's a lot of boxing matches where you lose money. And I don't foresee ESPN, anyone being able to move up in the ranks with ESPN, because ESPN hasn't been doing bad at all.
Okay.
Their platform has been working out well.
Okay.
I mean, there could be some improvements, but that's just my honest answer. When Joseph comes back, I'm pretty sure.
I'm back, brother. And once again, EJ, thank you for holding the fort.
You might have
but
a difference of opinion than I do.
well, look, Anthony, thank you once again for being with us, brother. And well, before we move forward, let's go to our brother JD. He says, that being said, how do you feel about Steven Espinosa being so vocal during the Spence versus Crawford negotiations? I don't know if he was. He was holding a lot back, not to me, but he was holding a lot back to most media sources. Now that everything is out in the open, I can tell you everything that he told me. Comes across like more of a promoter at times than the head of Showtime Boxing. Guys, make no mistake about this. They need to be promoters, just like Lou DiBella was at HBO. They are the promoters. Okay? And once again, I have to say this for Steven. I love Steven. He's a great guy, right? But for a long, long time, he was the puppet for Al Heyman. Make no mistake about it. I love Steven, but I have to accuse this. And I criticized him of this several years ago. Now that the house is burning down, no, he's demanding the big matchups. That's the only reason why we're on the cusp of hopefully seeing Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia, is because he's putting his foot down and demanding it. Okay? So I will tell you that he wasn't vocal during Spence Crawford negotiations. I will tell you what he told me, though. And you all know this, right? Okay? And in my opinion, I asked him, I said, why on earth did you guys continue these absurd negotiations when they had no chance of making this fight a reality? Because Top Rank had created a monster by overpaying Terrence Crawford, paying him inflated purses, making that investment, hoping that they would make Spence Crawford a reality while he was still under Top Rank promotional banner. Well, they made a gamble, they rolled the dice, and it didn't pay off. So there's a reason why Arum publicly stated, look, I've lost so much money on Terrence Crawford. I could have bought a beautiful house in Malibu, in Beverly Hills, with the amount of money that I lost on Terrence Crawford. But this is a guy who didn't get that memo. And when he became a free agent, not being a huge ticket seller, not being a huge pay-per-view commodity, thought that he could call the shots. And with these bullshit offers, people offering him, according to him, well, I'll give you guys $25 million a piece for the rights to stage this event. He went into negotiations demanding, now listen to this, he started negotiations demanding $22 million guaranteed for that event. And I told Steven, I'm like, look, why didn't you guys just turn and run? Because that's unrealistic, and you're not going to be able to reason with a guy who has that kind of unrealistic expectation. And Steven was like, because we needed this event. Because of where we are now, the uncertainty of Showtime Championship Boxing, we needed this event. So you tell me if Steven was vocal about any of that to anybody else.
I'm of the stance that a lot of these boxers are overpaid anyway. So now the expectation is way too high, and we can't.
That's it.
It can't be accommodated. And then when people can't get the accommodation going, fight fans get into arguments and make up all kinds of narratives.
That's it.
And the narratives are like blown way out of proportion.
EJ, you're absolutely right, brother. And Sid UK has a beat. He goes, networks of business and boxers are what's hurting the sport. Yes. They make absurd demands, but don't sell enough. They don't understand their market value. We're talking about fighters who are in this business, and they don't understand what makes up their respective market value. Guys, market value is determined solely by demand. The demand from the fans, ticket sales, pay-per-view sales, and ratings. Nothing else determines your market value, not ability, not anything else. So many fighters think, hey man, I'm a champion in my respective division, so I should be able to be the A side, right? No.
The only time they want to speak is when it's time to sign the contracts, and they make ridiculous demands. But here's the thing, and all you got to do is look back in history. These boxers nowadays do not want to work. They think all they got to do is just get in the ring and do the fight. That's a lot more to boxing than that.
Look, I hate to say this, CJ, but we're only experiencing that problem in America. Why do you think a coach like James Gogi has no desire to coach and train American fighters right now?
Because we're spoiled as fight fans.
In the immortal words of James Gogi, why would I want to train a bunch of entitled bitches who don't want to earn their keep? That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why, even though I give Ryan Garcia a lot of shit, right? Because you've heard my view. I mean, I got gifts of Ryan Garcia that I post up there. The Garcia pump 'em up shoes. I got all kinds of gifts.
Dude, I look, EJ, I missed you, brother. It's good to have you back, my friend.
One thing I have to say is that the man promotes himself. He promotes himself. It may not. I mean, he's popular on IG because of his own doing, not because of boxing, but because he's a good-looking individual. Girls like him, and he takes advantage of that.
Well, look. EJ, let's segue into this, brother. Let's segue into this. This goes right to where Oscar and Ryan are currently trying to renegotiate terms now that they have the skinny, right? And so here it is. And once again, thank you for hanging with us, JD. We appreciate it, and you're asking great questions, the questions that need to be answered. He says, what's the inside word of Paramount possibly killing Showtime Boxing? Well, once again, it was published, and Oscar knows this. This is why you're seeing this happen, right? Because how long ago did They say they agreed to all terms. It was a done deal. And now all of a sudden, they want to renegotiate everything. And here's why. Because in what was released, right, in their marketing report, President and CEO of Showtime and Paramount Media, Chris McCarthy, stated this as a, end quote, and I'm quoting him, as a part of Paramount Plus, we can put more resources into building out the lanes that have made the Showtime brand famous, as well as turning our hit shows into global franchises. To do this, now here's the important part, guys, quote, to do this, we will divert investment away from areas that are underperforming and that account for less than 10% of our views. We have already begun conversations with our production partners about what content makes sense moving forward and which shows have franchise potential. End quote. That's a huge red flag for any boxing fan, because when you look at just the number of subscribers to Showtime exclusively, that's 27 million. What's 10% of that? 2.7 million. What percentage of that are boxing viewers? It doesn't even come close.
Less than 1%.
So this is why Steven was working so hard to try and make beating a dead horse, basically, trying to make Crawford Spence a reality, regardless of what my brother Rick Glazer wants to tell you. He was genuinely trying to make this fight. This is why they desperately need Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. This is why Oscar knows this and is trying to renegotiate terms and holding this event hostage and trying to make it seem like it's all Al Heyman's fault if this fight falls apart. Does that make any sense?
No, I totally understand. Let's take this a step further. What if we do lose Showtime? All right.
That is a terrible thing for the sport. Once again, we've already lost HBO's investment. Now then we're going to lose Showtime. What's left in the American market? DAZN has already given up on the diehard fight fan, saying that, look, that's not our priority any further. Now, all we have left then is Top Rank, and they're merely shooting for par. They don't give a shit. They're doing a great job, and they're the very best at nurturing and cultivating prospects. But they don't have the budget to stage the big events. Look, when you consider their budget, now I've been told $93 million per annum is their budget. When you consider that DAZN spent $60 million rock to stage Canelo versus Golovkin.
The third fight?
Top Rank doesn't have the budget to stage events like that. And when you consider all the other big events in America,
was
staged by PBC.
Was that on top of the? I think it was 160 million for the three fights. Is that in that, or is that separate?
No. It's 93 million per annum for at least 25 events per year. That's Top Rank's budget, and I've been told that from Top Rank representatives.
No, what I'm saying is the contract that Saul signed was a 3-fight deal, right? And we still got one fight.
Yep, and that's going to be Ryder. And guess where that's going to be staged? You think it's going to be staged in America?
No, I thought that was going to be in Guadalajara.
It's going to be either in the UK or in Mexico.
Yeah, because
they don't give a shit. Their priority is no longer in the American market. So if Showtime falls, where does that leave us?
That leaves the American market having to go overseas and trying to
exactly, brother. In healthier markets, right?
Yes.
In healthier boxing markets.
That's a good thing, man. Maybe that's a good thing.
Dude, that's not a good thing.
Well, then look at it this way, because then that will filter out I don't know. You're right. You're right.
It's never a good thing for boxing fans to lose TV dates. That's never a good thing.
I was thinking about for the sport itself, though, because
It's never a good thing
my thing is right.
for
My thing right now,
for
American
the
boxing-
business to lose dates in America. That's never a good thing.
I'm thinking about for boxing itself because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm very disappointed with American boxing fans.
Yes, that's it, but not in the product. Think about the fights that we've been getting from Top Rank and PBC, ones who have been catering to the American market. We're getting great product. Look at the fight that we're having, and that's flying under the radar this Saturday. Okay, Vargas versus Foster. This is a great event. And guess what? I guarantee it's not going to sell more than 5,000 tickets.
It's not being promoted, basically.
Yep. By whom? PBC or Showtime? Why?
I don't know, but it's also
Because it's not cost effective and it's not within their budget.
But the boxers aren't doing their part either. They're not promoting themselves, and that's a big part of my issue with a lot of some of the not a lot, but some of these boxers.
Because it's not cost effective. Do you realize now? Once again, here's a lesson, right?
Yeah.
Do you know who pays for the All Access on Showtime or the 24/7 on HBO? Do you know what party paid for those promotional? The promotional
I'm very
event?
honest with you, I don't have a clue.
No, those were the promoters. The promoters paid out of pocket. When you look at the executive producer of Tank Davis All Access, the executive producer was Floyd Mayweather Jr. The promoters are expected to pay for this promotional spots. And if it's not cost effective, they're not going to do it.
Let me respond to Peter.
Because no one is in the business of losing money.
I want to explain my position to Peter. Peter, it's don't trust me when I say I'm not trying to be ignorant to the fact, and Joseph understands where I'm coming from. It's just my disdain for the way that American boxing fans get themselves involved in the politics and go under assumptions here and there. I'm tired of narratives being blown out of proportion, and then it's a major news story, which is detriment to boxing. That's what I'm tired of. Which is why
here, EJ, this is why I love you so much, brother. Because once again, you've always been a good, humble guy. And if just like you just did, when I asked you a question, you said, you know what? I have no idea.
Right.
You know what? Tell me how many YouTube channels there are that admit to ignorance. None. That's the problem. And dude, I've actually reached out to these YouTubers and I've tried to say, this is where you're wrong. They take offense to that shit.
No, dude, I don't sit here.
And they get mad. They get upset.
That.
And I'm like, look, brother, I'm trying to help. I already know this shit. I'm trying to help you understand the business. Right? Why would anyone get mad at that? This is why I'm telling you, a guy like Emmanuel Stewart, a guy like Don, they would never waste their time on these channels. And why? Because they're not susceptible to learning new information. EJ, that's why I hold you in such high regard. You're a very good, humble guy. You're a great ambassador for the sport, and you're always looking to learn something new. That's it, right?
Well, you always learn. Life is about learning, and you got to learn.
That's it. Guys, once again, I didn't just snap my fingers and understood all this shit. I was humble, and I just shut up, and I listened. And I learned from the great boxing minds that made this sport what it is. That's the only way you can learn things. So when a guy like Emmanuel Stewart tells me, hey, you know what? Shut up. Just listen. Guess what? I shut up and listen. And when a guy like James Gogi tells me, you know what? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Listen. Guess what? I listened. That's the only way you learn. That's the only way you learn, guys. And this is why this channel is in existence. Okay? I look, once again, I'm not taking credit for any of this. I am merely relaying the information that was taught to me from the great boxing minds that I learned from. That's it, EJ.
You know, it makes me regret me taking a 20-year hiatus because of my frustration with boxing. and every day, I mean, over the past 3 years, because I've been back to boxing in the past 3 years, it makes me sad that there's so much I could have learned over those previous 20 years, but my frustration level was to its peak that I just
Dude,
gave
that's
up.
understandable. This is why, EJ, I sympathize, right? This is why I sympathize with all fight fans who aren't financially supporting the sport any longer. They're not financially supporting the product. They're saying, look, we've been hosed from promoters and networks for decades of having to pay. Like they've been taking advantage of us in for no other sport has it been expected for fans to pay for the best product. In no other sport other than boxing, we've been expected to pay a lot of money for every major event for decades. So now boxing fans have an outlet to where they can illegally stream these things. You mean to tell me that they're not going to take advantage of that? Exactly. That's why you know what? That's why I sympathize, and I can't fault the diehard fight fan. They've been gouged for decades, brother. Now, once again, I herald and I applaud everyone that still pays for these things, but I completely understand the ones that don't. I completely understand it, brother. And it sucks, but that's where we are now.
But now, I'm of the mindset now. I'm in the twilight of my. I think I'm in the twilight of my life now.
Brother,
I don't want to give up anymore. I'm not gonna stand down. I'm gonna speak my mind.
you should, as you should, brother. And that's why we love you, man.
But one thing I do, which you've noticed, I am gonna speak my frustration out.
Yes,
I'm gonna
as
let
you
it
should.
know. But
As you should.
I am so tired, Joseph. I'm so tired of these fly by night channels that for some reason get popular and they feed into these narratives, and it just makes me sick because they don't even understand that it's hurting the sport.
That's it. That's it. And once again, it's some of these channels, they've done a really good job of selling their brand of bullshit to fans who don't know any better. Right? Here we are, right? WAWR Radio, right? We've been in operation on YouTube for now about 2 years, right? We are 15 subscribers shy of 1,000. Okay? And yet, channels like Dante's Racist Boxing Nation. Oh, they're what? About 75,000, 100,000? Fannin just celebrated being 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Right? And all he does is regurgitate bullshit. He's not an insider. He doesn't know jack poop. So, guys, I'm asking you. So, here's a shot to you, EJ. I've got my sweet Amber, my friend. Here's to all of you hanging with us tonight. Guys, sweet Amber, sweet bitch on all of you guys. And yes, cracking with Coke. I'm downing sweet Amber. Here's to all of you guys. Thank you for being extended family members of War Week. Thank you for being with us. God bless all of you guys. Down the hatch.
Oof! I think I made that one a little strong.
Hey, man, sweet bitch on you, brother. Oh, boy. So what is this? Oh, wait a minute. You forgot one initial. Isn't it DRBN? Dante's Racist Boxing Nation? Isn't that what it is? Right? and Peter goes, I'll drink to that. But guys, all I need is 15 more subscribers to get over 1,000. Please. Give me 15, baby. Come on.
I think I've been subscribed to you now for the better part of a year and a half. You didn't even know I was subscribed to you.
No. You told me, and that's like I think we initially interchange subscriptions. That's when I
Oh
first
yeah, that's
subscribed
what
to
it
you
was.
as
About a
well.
year and a half ago, right? Something
Yeah,
like
about
that.
a year and a half ago. Yeah. but look, Tyco TV has the beat. And this is why I sympathize with all diehard fight fans. And you know what? As much as I urge everyone to strongly financially support the product, their beloved boxing, their pastime of choice, I can't fault them because I
It can make
understand
you
the
broke.
history, right? Tyco TV says, paying for all these pay-per-views, BS pay-per-views, has felt as if I was stabbing myself with a lightsaber over and over. And it's guys, it's absolutely true. And this is once again, it's a double-edged sword. Promoters and networks, they've created this. They've created this.
Overpaying the boxers
Yep.
is the first way the first way they put the knife to their throat.
Look, Don taught me this, EJ, right? And this is, I hope everyone understands this, and we're all seeing this now. And when PBC first formed, when Al Heyman gutted Golden Boy Promotions, leaving them for dead, taking the great majority of their talent and forming PBC, he told me, look, guys, he said, look, Joseph, he's overpaying all of their talent. That's never a great practice for the health of the sport, because when you overpay talent, it makes it impossible to put together the great matchups.
But
Because when they grow accustomed to making millions for soft touches, how much do you think they're going to demand for the great matchups? And once again, Don Chargan was spot on.
there's another side to that story that you're not mentioning, and I know it's not due to ignorance because you know it. My other part is the other side of that coin, which is they're underpaying the third and fourth tier boxing talent that's out there, because you can get diamonds in the rough from them talents, and yet nothing comes of it. No one hears of them. They put their heart into it. They can't even get paid for their training.
Well,
And this is a
look,
huge.
and once again, people don't realize this, and yes, they are getting paid, but that's the manager's job as well as the promoters, right? Promoters, and everyone's like, oh, they're taking 20% off the top, they're making a killing. Do you realize how much they invest in new talent from all of that? And do you realize how much of that pays off for them?
Yeah, but
A very small percentage.
my
They
thing
get
is,
siphons to train.
I'm talking about. Okay.
Well,
I'll give you-
let me give you an example, right? This March
I was gonna
12th
give you
card,
one too.
right?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Let me give you an example, right? March 12th card, right? We're getting Daniel Cortez and Hector Tanahara. They're paying, right? They're paying this regional promoter for them to be on this card. They're not going to make any money from this. They're merely paying for their activity. And this happens all around the country, right?
Right.
This is why I'm saying, guys, go support these regional fight cards. They don't make any money. This is an investment of the future. How many of these prospects are going to actually yield money? A very small percentage. Look at Edgar Berlanga,
Do we have
a
to talk about him?
prospect that Top Rank invested a lot of money in. Did he ever make them money? No. Yet he has delusions of grandeur, thinking, okay, I'm going to walk away from the best promoter on the planet, as well as the two best matchmakers in the sport, thinking that I'm a headliner. And why does he feel this way? Why does he feel this way?
Could it be because he was overpaid and hype job?
Exactly.
You know
That's
how much
it.
I hate him. Why do you always bring him up when I'm around? Why? 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 I'm Puerto Rican. Come on, man. Why?
Oh, EJ. And look.
You can't help it. You know what?
You know what?
Every time.
I will say this, and you as well as Tyco TV understand this, right? You guys have been with me from the get-go. Hold on. Tyco TV has a beat. He says, Sweet Amber got Joseph feeling great. Yes, I am buzzing like a locomotive right now, brother. So one more ain't gonna hurt. Here's to you, EJ. Sweet
Hold on,
bitch
let me
on
shut up.
everyone.
Let me
Oh,
shut
hold
up.
on. I'll wait. I'll wait, brother.
I'm gonna finish the bottle. Man. I'm gonna finish the bottle.
Oh, God bless you, EJ.
That's
Thank you,
the
my
last
friend.
of it.
Thank you. Thank you for downing that bottle for me, brother. I
No
appreciate you
problem.
being here.
I do not do this often.
I
and
know
feel
you
good
don't indulge very often. Unfortunately, I do, my friend.
Nothing
So
better than to partake with another Hispanic. That you need to stop with the Berlanga. No more. No more.
I promise he won't come up for the rest of this show. EJ, here's to you, my friend. You
Salud, my
keep
brother.
on being the great ambassador you are. Down the hatch.
Oh, Jesus.
No more Berlanga talk.
There's no
Yep.
more in here. It's done.
There you go, brother. Thank you, sir. I wish I could say the same, but I still have a bottle left. Thank you very much.
Oh, I've been hitting this thing up this past. For some
I
reason,
know
this
you
past
have.
week.
I know you have. That's why it's empty. So G Funky has a beat. I love supporting local shows. Yes. What's not to love? Guys, support the local shows. This is the only sport where you get to see world-class entertainment where all the athletes are easily accessible. You go see them at the weigh-in. You can talk to them. Sign your autograph. Sign your promotional paraphernalia, right? You can talk to them. You can get interviews. You can get videos where you can be a part of the event. Guys, what's not to love? This is yours for the taking, right? Go out and be a part of the event. What's not to love? Hold on. Oh, shit.
Oh,
Tycho
shit.
TV. Hold on. Here
Oh,
it comes.
shit.
Here it comes. Here it comes. EJ? And this is a question for you, brother. Would you rather us talk about Josue Vargas? Oh, shit.
Okay, listen. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Yes. Yes, I would. Okay.
Oh, guys. Look, this is another fighter that Top Rank, and this flew under the radar. Yeah, this is a guy that Top Rank recently cut too, right? This is a fighter that Top Rank recently cut as well. Josue Vargas.
Why?
Geez, I wonder why. Because he got his ass whooped.
And the thing is,
once again, they invested a lot of money in this kid.
and here's the thing: losing is not the bad thing.
Nope.
Losing is not the bad thing. It's how you lose.
Exactly.
Right? And how you win. He lost and won badly.
Yep. And so you look at this compared to Liam Wilson on Friday night.
God damn, yes.
That's a mountain of difference, isn't it?
Hold on, let me give this to you. You deserve that one. That is the example. That's it right there. Look. See how Liam Wilson lost? If you're gonna lose a fight, that's how you fucking lose it.
That's how you lose a fight.
Talking about you, and now we want to see what he's about and see if he could pull this shit off again.
We want to see more of him.
We want to see more. I want to see more. And let me give you another example. If let's say Haney and Loma.
Oh, don't get me started on that, brother.
Just let me get this off there. Let's say Haney and Loma fought, and let's just say Haney lost. Depending on how he lost, all right. Depending on how he lost, it could make his name better. Because that fucking zero don't matter. The zero don't matter. It's how you lose and how you win. Now he did good. He did good. Now right now he's done good with the way he's won his fights. He defended his WBC title 4 times, which made in my book. Don't get me wrong. Joseph knows this. I'm not a Haney fan, but I am a proponent of justice. Haney deserved that shot at Kambosos over Lomachenko, in my opinion, and he got it, and I was appreciative, and he won it, taking whatever deal they gave him, and he did it twice. That's the way you do it.
That's it. Look.
That's how you do it.
Look, EJ, you're absolutely right. That's how you do it. when you're not a ticket seller, you're not a pay-per-view commodity. Like, even when you're in your hometown, you can't even sell more than 4,000 tickets. Okay?
Mhm.
So guess what? Beggars can't be choosers. You take what's given to you, right? And this is Haney being the product of being overpaid severely by Matchroom Sport, right? Okay, well, guess what? Guess what? That's why this fight's in jeopardy. That's why you haven't seen Haney versus Lomachenko announced yet.
I'm holding
This
out hope.
this guy thinks that he is the massive A side because, well, he is the man at 135. He holds all the titles.
I'm holding hope.
That doesn't determine market value, guys.
No, it does not.
Your ability to sell tickets in this business determines market value. Okay? So now he thinks, oh, well, Lomachenko needs us. Dude, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He doesn't need shit. He can retire tomorrow and he'll still be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
And this is to your chat. This is from me to your chat. Just anyone in chat, listen very closely. And I believe this 100% wholeheartedly. Haney needs Loma more than Loma ever needed Haney.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly agreed.
And my reasoning is this.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, EJ.
Okay, my reason
You're on a roll, brother. Go ahead.
My reasoning is this. Loma has his career already set.
Yep. First ballot Hall of Famer already.
He is going to be a Hall of Famer. He has done the legacy fights that he needed to do. I don't care what kind of narrative all other channels put out there. But right now, Haney needs Loma.
Yes,
he needs
EJ.
Loma for that legacy. He needs legacy.
EJ, yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you. And guys, we're gonna have a call halt to this show because a friend of mine just showed up, my brother. But EJ, you are spot on. You're right on the money. And you know what? This is a perfect segue to end this show. Dude, try telling that to Bill Haney. Exactly.
I've talked to him a couple of times. And
And yes, this is a guy who believes he understands the business of boxing, but he does not. And once again, it's his lack of humility. And so, hey, hopefully they understand this, right? But they don't. Hopefully they will understand. Hopefully the brass of Top Rank can talk some sense into them. And hopefully this fight gets announced because right now, as it stands, it's in the flux. It's the equivalent of Tank versus Ryan.
Yes.
It's on the verge of collapsing, right? So, EJ, thank you, brother, for being a part of tonight.
Joseph,
we love you, brother.
Thank you. I'm glad that I got a chance to come back. Thank you very much for having me on your channel.
Look, EJ, we love you, brother. So tell us where to reach you, my friend. Tell us where to reach you, brother. Tell us where to reach you.
You could reach me at my channel. I'm also at ElectroJed and Katie Kaboom at gmail.com. Katie Kaboom is my wife. But my channel, my YouTube channel is the same name as you see up there. You're more than welcome to come by there. I have been getting more active lately since I haven't been sick as sick as before. So I'm getting
God bless you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for all the well wishes, by the way. I appreciate that. Even though I might not have said anything, I've seen some of your shows or you made a comment here or there. I appreciate that. But you can catch me on my channel or at, like I said, ElectroJed and Katie Kaboom at gmail.com if you want to talk about or possibly promote a certain event. I'm more than willing to help you out and work with you. Joseph,
EJ,
you are
God bless you, brother.
Scholar and a gentleman, my good man. I appreciate you having me up there.
No, the pleasure has been all mine, EJ. And you know what, brother? Man, I wish we could make this a regular thing. I really do. Right? If your health permits, brother. But yes. God bless you. And you're still in my prayers every single week. Okay?
I appreciate that.
So guys, once again, you are the consummate ambassadors of the sport. Go out and promote it. Tell your neighbors. Tell your friends. You guys know what's good and what isn't. Tell these guys who wouldn't know the difference between a fish hook and our left hook. Guys, go and tell them, educate them on what's good about the sport of boxing. Okay? So guys, on behalf of my brother EJ, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to WAWR Week Radio. Have a great evening, everybody.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.